All right, so this is a video for adding polynomials. If you are already sort of comfortable with this and you just want to recap, I do have another video that combines adding and subtracting and is meant as like if you've already done it and you just need a review. If you haven't done adding polynomials in a while or you are struggling, then you might want to watch this video, and then I'm going to do a separate subtracting videos, but you have access to any of those that you want, or you can, search Khan Academy or wherever. The assignment will be an optional adding practice, an optional subtracting practice, and then there's a Desmos activity that has you do adding and subtracting. So this is for my students as we are out of school for the quarter. All right, so adding polynomials is a way to combine coefficients, which are just the numbers in front, when terms are like. Okay, now what does like mean? Like terms have the same variable, or if there's more than one, they need to have all the same. So they have the same variables to the exact same powers. All right, so for example, if I had 5x and 10x squared, they would be not like, because even though they both have x's, this is an x to the first power and this is an x to the second power. So they can hang out together, they can be part of the same math sentence, but they can't ever combine to make more. However, if I had 5x and 10x, they would be like each other, and if I changed this to an add or a subtract sign, I could smush them into one and combine them. Now, what happens here is we aren't going to change the powers. So when we do this, the only thing that will change are these front numbers. When I take 5x and 10x, and I add them together, it's a collection. I'm not creating a bigger power of x's. All right, it's like if I had 5 oranges and 10 oranges, I'm not going to say 5 oranges plus 10 oranges is 15 oranges squared. That would be insane, right? If you have 5 oranges and 10 oranges, you have 15 oranges. If you have 5 x's and 10 x's, you have a lot of x's, first of all. You have 15 x's, okay? Now, if the powers were bigger, it would still be the same idea. If I have 5x squareds and 10x squareds, I just have 15x squareds together. If I have 5x cubed and 10x cubed, I have 15x cubed together. So notice, the powers need to match, but when I actually go to combine, the powers don't change. Okay, so like terms, they have to have the exact same variables to the exact same powers. If they're not like, they can hang out together, but they won't combine. And if they do combine, they do not create or destroy powers. So I'm going to do a couple of examples with adding. And then I'll do a separate video for subtracting, because for subtracting you have to do some distribution, and that can be a little bit trickier for people, and I don't want this to be the longest video on the planet. All right, so let's start really basic. Let's say I have something like 5x plus 7 plus 3x minus 4. All right, now there's a couple of different ways to do this. You can do this horizontally. You can do this vertically. It really is up to you. I find that if you are a visual math learner, like if it makes more sense to you for things to be visual and you struggle when things get messy looking or they become too big, then you might want to stick with vertical. I'll show you vertical to start. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look through and see, okay, who is like? All right, I've got this plain 5x. I'm looking for anything else that's an x. Through the rest of the sentence, I have a 3x. This is a plus, so it's not going to affect any of my signs. And I can go ahead and combine those. If you're a horizontal person, you would just say, oh, okay, I've got 5x plus 3x. If you're a vertical person, what you can do is you can just take this 3x and move it down below the 5x. Okay, so if you find that you like that pattern better, you like to line them up and combine, that's a good way to do it, especially when there's a lot of terms. If you don't need that, then just go ahead and do it horizontally. Or if it's a small problem, you could even say, oh, 5x plus 3x, I can do that in my head, and that's fine too. All right, I'm not telling you how you have to think math. I'm just giving you some options. All right, now I've got plus 7. The other plain number in the sentence is a -4, so I could move the -4 there, or I can always align them horizontally. When you're doing addition specifically, as long as you keep your signs correct, you can rearrange the sentence so that they're next to each other like. So see how these are all the same terms, just rearranged? They call that commutative, and addition is commutative, meaning you can reorganize it. You have to watch when there's a minus, because if there's a minus, you have to make sure you watch your signs. All right, now, if you are a vertical person, you would just go ahead and combine straight down. If you're a horizontal person, you just combine. 5x plus 3x gives me 8 x's. I did not get x squared. They did not create random more powers of x. It just is 5 plus 3 is 8. Okay, 7 minus 4 is a positive 3, and that's my answer. If you struggle with sign, use a calculator. The rule is if you have opposite sign, you subtract, and whoever's bigger gets to keep their sign. If you prefer horizontal, same idea. 5x plus 3x is 8x. 7 minus 4 is 3. If you like to do things in your head, 5x plus 3x is 8x. 7 minus 4 is 3. Okay? Now, of course, they get a little bigger. They get a little crazier. All right, but because we're not together, and I can't help you like necessarily like I can't like sit at a desk next to you or whatever. I'm gonna go gentle here, so I'm not gonna get much bigger or crazier than this, but it can get bigger and crazier. All right, and especially if you get into Algebra 2, things get a little cuckoo there. But for us, this is about as intensive as we're gonna get for adding and subtracting gets a little bit weirder, but for adding, this is about as intensive as we're gonna get. All right, so I like to do color coding. It helps me. It makes sense to me. I have a 2x squared. This is a 4x, so it's not the same power. This is a 6. It doesn't have an x. This is an 8x squared, so it's the same. This is a 3x, so it's not the same. And this is a 4, so it's not the same. So the two that I'm going to combine are the 2x squared and the 8x squared. If you like vertical, you would go ahead and line them up like that. If you are a horizontal person, or you can do math quicker in your head, or you've done this before, you can just go ahead and add them because you are a smart person and you can math, all right? You don't need me to math. I'm just, giving you a boost here. All right, next up I have -4x. This doesn't have an x. We already used this one. This is a positive 3x, so that matches and that one doesn't. Now, if you struggle with sign again, go ahead and use a calculator. They're opposite signs, so I'm going to subtract. 4 minus 3 is 1. 4 is bigger, though, so it gets to keep its sign. All right, and then I'm running out of colors. I guess I'll use black. My black markers are all starting to die. Then I have a 6 and a -4, so I can combine. Now, if you find that you're doing a problem and one of them doesn't have a like term, like say this 4 was missing, you would just put a 0 here, or you would just drop that term. You don't need something to combine with, but usually there will be something to combine with. All right, 2 plus 8 is 10, and it keeps its x squared. -4 plus 3, you subtract, and the bigger guy keeps its sign. You can write it as -1x. You can just write it as -x, whatever makes you happiest. But remember, if there's no number in front of it, it does default to a 1. That's something that catches people a lot, so watch out for it. And then 6 minus 4 is 2. All right, so that's my answer. I'm going to do probably one more just to give you the idea of it. Maybe I will give you one where there's a term that doesn't match. Okay. If you struggle with any of this, remember I have office hours Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If my office hours don't work for you and you need some individual help from me, just message me. Okay. I can make myself available all sorts of times of the day now because, well, you can't see me in school. All right. Let's say I've got x squared plus 3x plus 6 plus 2x squared minus x minus 5. Oh, I was going to leave off. Just kidding. We'll do it like that. Now, this should make your math brain kind of go, wait. Because it's very annoying to look at something that's 3 terms and then something that's only 2 terms when they don't match like through adding. So, but be careful. What that usually means is there's going to be a term that doesn't have someone to like, and that's okay. You don't have to like someone. If you struggle with your numbers at all, keep in mind that this x squared is really a 1x squared, and this negative x is really a negative 1x. All right, so make sure you remember they have a 1 on them, so when you're adding and subtracting, they do have to combine with that 1. All right, I have an x squared and a 2x squared. In a world where we were getting particularly crazy, we might do some where they're out of order, but we're not going to do that because, you know, we're gentle today. All right, I have a 3x and a negative 1x. And then notice I have this 6, and I don't have anybody to combine with this 6, so it's just going to stay as part of my answer. It's still allowed to be part of the answer, it just doesn't have anybody to combine with. All right, and once again, if you don't like the vertical, don't do the vertical. I'm just showing you the vertical because I think for a lot of students that's the one that makes the most sense. 1x squared plus 2x squared gives me 3x squared. I've got 1 and 2. All right, 3 minus 1 is 2, and then that 6 just comes down for the right. Okay, now, like I said, I have another video that combines addition and subtraction, so if you want more like that way, you can check that out. You have access to an entire internet, so you can always do that. And there is an optional assignment that lets you do a little bit of practice with this. And then your full assignment will be that Desmos activity. It will be posted, though, at the start of the week, so you can do it, you know, whenever you have a spare time. A spare time? Anyway, if you need help, just let me know, all right? I can't be at school with you, but I'm here to help you anytime you need it. All right, I will hopefully talk to you later.